Hello and welcome to the Neo Marketing Podcast. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Neo Marketing Podcast. My name is Kyle Golding. I'm the CEO and Chief Strategic Idealist for the Golding Group. On today's episode, we're going to talk about brand communication during crisis. I am joined today by Pritch Pritchard, APR and PRSA Fellow. And then what year were you Educator of the Year?
2013.
I tell you guys all the time that my man Pritch knows what he's doing. He definitely knows what he's doing. Who is the Chief Strategic Counsel for the Golding Group. This podcast will consist of 5 to 7 minutes every week.
Welcome back to the Neo Marketing Podcast. Today we're going to talk about authentic communication,
where Pritch and I talk about topics related to marketing, advertising, public relations, and other integrated communications.
My public relations career actually started in the cockpit. I started my naval career flying jets off of aircraft carriers. Welcome to the Neo Marketing Podcast. I'm Pritch Pritchard, Partner and Chief Strategic Counsel for the Golding Group. Across from me is Kyle Golding, CEO and Chief Strategic Idealist.
Mostly me
FCC stuff.
Yeah, mostly me screwing up doing these intros and stuff.
Today we're going to talk about neo marketing. What does that term mean, Kyle?
Advice for you folks is it's scary the first time you do it. It's a lot easier after that.
Right. Yeah, the first time you're blooded in combat, it's always tough.
That's right.
But it gets easier after that.
One thing that social media is good for is influencing, but it also has to be authentic. And when it's
Absolutely.
not, when you pay Kim Kardashian $1 million to pitch your XYZ item, and everyone knows she's only doing it to get paid,
right.
Not only are you not moving the needle to sell more of that thing, you're actually putting yourself in a backward.
It's more challenging, I think, than back in the day when it was just traditional media, legacy media. There used to be a news cycle that was 24 hours.
People respond well to video. They like to see the visuals. They like to see people talking. They like to see the production value. They want to make sure that you're not some crackpot shooting on a terrible camera and from your prison cell, if you will. One of the things I say all the time when I do public speaking is marketing is a two-way conversation.
Absolutely.
Well, employees are part of that two-way conversation. It's not enough to create great content, whether it's audio, video, written form. You have to create great content that's useful for people in an interesting way, and then deliver it consistently over and over again. Consistency is the key too as well.
Absolutely.
That's why we're doing a weekly podcast. We're going to create consistency. When in doubt, say nothing, right? You have to continually aggregate, continually deliver that message over and over and over again, because a tiny minority of your audience are seeing it in any given time. The flip side though is once those clicks stop happening, it's because you've overshared it. You've put the same thing over every single day, every hour at the top of the hour can wear your audience out as well. So you gotta find a happy medium, and that's paying attention to your audience.
Okay.
The key is being prepared before it happens.
Absolutely.
People who are not associated, who try to glom on to the public sentiment, sort of get their name front and center, that's a bad idea as well, right?
Yeah, I think it's a lot like looky-loos on the highway when there's an accident. Diversity and inclusion, as you would imagine, and that's good. We need to have those conversations. I'd like us to go a little bit deeper than talking about it in terms of race and gender. Nobody's got a lock on the great ideas.
That's true.
And I think we actually did our discipline a disservice when we called it public relations. It should be public relationships. Social media and the digital world is just public relations in a different form. Kyle, you were pretty prescient about this 5 years ago. Presentation in Little Rock, Arkansas.
They asked me to talk about creativity in public relations. So I started thinking about it, and what I came up with was, and it's funny, the stuff that I talked about at the time was starting to be very trendy and now is very mainstream.
All right, exactly what are we talking about here when we talk about big data?
That's a good question.
I mean, very large data sets, and people struggling. I think they're overwhelmed with the data, to be honest with you.
The term itself can be a little scary, right?
It is. Right.
Internal efficiencies are a great way for you to find profitability. The Innovation Hub at the University of Oklahoma, where Pritch is a professor. How long has this building been here?
Not long. It's a year and a half, 2 years maybe.
It's amazing.
Have a maker space around the corner. They do all kinds of classes. Kyle, you've talked often about there being two ways to increase your profitability, marketing, and efficiency. Tell us more.
That's right. Everyone wants to talk about marketing. Everyone wants to drive more traffic, more sales, which is great. I love more sales too. I love traffic too.
Research. Nobody likes to hear research. Nobody wants to pay for it. But if you don't have that as your foundation, you're just guessing. And this is not a world that we can guess in.
I know for us, for the Golden Group, we've had clients come to us 18, 24, 36 months after initially being engaged via social media.
Yep.
So setting that timetable can be, because you think social media is immediate, but for someone to show up 3 years later and go, you guys were talking about something, or you presented something, or you did something for one of your clients, we really liked it, we sort of bookmarked it and waited till we needed it, that's a long game.
That is a long game, and I think that's the way you have to think about it too. Relationships aren't made overnight. There's love at first sight, but relationships take time, effort, and the long game. And Burger King still has that scary king,
right?
Too, which is a form of bullying in my humble opinion.
What's funny is,
well, when you talk about that space, you obviously have to talk about social media, and it was first revolutionary, and now it's evolutionary.
Right? Authenticity. It goes so far these days. No one, you know why there's jokes about used car salesmen? You can't fake the funk.
No.
You can't fake your authenticity. This is where people mess up.
Slow down. Take your time and do this right.
New spaces, man. Nice digs.
Here we are. We're in the new podcast studio at the Golden Group office, which is at the 3810 project.
A lot of people understand public relations as media relations. A lot of people understand public relations as consumer packaged goods, and it's much more than that.
And changing every day.
And changing every day, often the same but different.
I think the audience will enjoy that.
Well, I hope so.
I know I'm looking forward to it.
Because I don't know that a lot of people think of community relations as a marketing tool or associated with public relations. And what I mean by that...
And they're missing an opportunity.
Oh, they absolutely are. What I tell my students is perfection is the mortal enemy of good enough. And there is such a thing as good enough.
Yes. And eventually when you do get a better camera and you have more audience, and maybe you can even start getting paid for it, you're going to be so much better, so much more prepared if you just waited to find that opportunity.
Right, exactly. It's the revolution is getting started, and then it becomes evolution.
Right. It's one thing for Pritch and I to talk back and forth, and we try to trade off on expertise and who's discussing stuff, but we want some guests.
Absolutely.
We want some other people to join us because it's fun. Use that social media, however you're engaging this right now. Make a comment and ask us a question and give us a topic, something you want us to discuss. But Pritch, the question I have for you is, what would be your dream guest? Who's something? And think big. Don't doesn't have to be a local person. If you could get anyone on the planet to come and sit down with us and have a discussion about neo-marketing communication, who would it be? Until next time, good luck.
Ciao.